Hello and welcome to Bedford County Public Schools. We are so excited to have you join us and are excited that you have chosen our community to have an impact on our students and families. Typically, we have always had a face-to-face meeting with our new hires during the teacher work week. And this year we thought we'd try something a little bit different and create a couple of videos for you to view so that hopefully you will have more time in your classrooms as you prepare for that first day of school and for meeting your students and their families. You should have already received a copy of the new hire meetings from your principal. If not, I will be emailing you one of those, and I've also included a copy in our Google Classroom that I have set up for the new hires. But the goal of our new hire program through our meetings throughout the year is really to familiarize you with the initiatives that we have in Bedford County. What is the vision in Bedford County Public Schools, and how can you be a part of that, and how can you feel familiar with what we do and why we do it? The program is designed for teachers with 0 years of experience and teachers with 15 years of experience. It doesn't matter. That's why it's called a new hire program and not a new teacher program. The goal of this program is not how to teach you how to teach. You know how to teach. That's why we hired you. Our goal is simply to make you feel equipped so that you feel that you can be successful in Bedford County Public Schools. Our objective for our meeting today, for our August meeting, if we're meeting face-to-face, is kind of divided into 3 parts. And you'll see that your school is probably expecting you to write your objective in this format that communicates the specific behaviors that students will do, the conditions that they'll be working under, and then also what is that measurable component of the daily objective. When we meet together in September, we'll really be looking at daily objectives and the pieces of the puzzle, why they're written the way that they are. But you'll see today we are going to look at the role and responsibilities of a Bedford County teacher as you individually explore things such as goal writing, professionalism, and the available resources by watching the videos that I've created. Why? Obviously, we want to nurture your professional and personal growth. And then that measurable component, hopefully by the time you view these videos, you can locate at least 3 resources needed to prepare a standard-based lesson. You will craft a paragraph that explains the recertification process, and you feel prepared to have your initial goal meeting with your administrator. So again, I met most of you at the Friday, August 3rd meeting, the new teacher orientation that was run by our Human Resources Department. But I know some of you weren't able to be there, so I just wanted you to be able to put a name with a face until our September meeting when I see you. I am Sherry Weiss, and I am the supervisor of social studies and mentor programs. But a little bit of background of who I am. I am fairly local. I grew up in Campbell County and graduated from Rustburg High School. Then I went on to Virginia Tech, and I got my undergraduate degree in history. I also had minors in political science and sociology. I stayed at Virginia Tech and got my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. When I left Virginia Tech, I started my career at Liberty High School and taught World History II, AP European History, and Practical Law at Liberty High School for 9 years. While I was at Liberty High School, I also coached indoor and outdoor track and field while I was there, so 18 seasons of that. I was also the department chair and a variety of other responsibilities. I got married while I was a teacher at Liberty High School. I married Ben Weiss, who is still a teacher at Liberty High School, PE teacher, and football coach, track and field coach there. While I was teaching at Liberty High School, I decided that I would pursue national board certification. Less than 3% of the teachers in the country pursue and achieve national board certification, so I achieved in 2012 that certification. Then my husband and I had our daughter Elliot. She is 5 and she is currently a kindergartner at New London Academy in Bedford County. Then I went back to school and I got my EDS in supervision and administration from Liberty University. Then I left the classroom after 9 years at Liberty High School and became the lead teacher for social studies for the division. Then I became the supervisor of social studies and mentor programs about 3.5 years ago. And once in that position, my husband and I had our son Clay, who is 1.5 years. Still doesn't have any hair, even though he is 1.5 years. So that is a little bit about me, and hopefully throughout the year you will learn more about me on a personal and professional level, and I hope to do the same for you. I really value the relationships that I form with our new hires each year. It's one of the roles of my job that I love the most. Obviously, I love social studies, but I truly love working with our new hires and our assigned mentors for the new teachers with 0 years of experience. So again, our goal in Bedford County and with the new hire program is really to help you have well-defined job expectations. You know, that is part of our handbook, and we truly want you to feel that you know what your job expectations are and that you feel that you can meet them. And so the goal is to provide, to monitor the data, analyze the data, and use it to determine what your needs are. What information do you need? What communication do you need? And please feel free to reach out to me at any time with any questions that you have. So I want you to hit pause on the video in just a second once I explain your next step. And I want you to access this video. It's about the Olympics in Barcelona, in 1992. And I'd love for you to type in this link and watch that video. And once you have watched the video, I hope that you will come back, pick up this video, and really reflect on what happened. Think about the failures that he experienced and how that is going to connect to your first year as a teacher in Bedford County. Again, we know that's not your first year for many of you, but it is your first year with Bedford County. And so are you going to have realistic goals? Are you going to have a trusted colleague that you can confide in, whether that's a mentor or a grade level team member, a department team member? But who is going to be that trusted colleague? You know, his dad was his trusted colleague. Other people, he waved them away. So you've got to know, who are you going to kind of wave away? Whose advice and input are you going to kind of disregard? And who's going to be that trusted colleague who is going to help you succeed? Also, his dad let him finish. He provided support, but ultimately he crossed the finish line alone. And so thinking about that, we don't want to rely too heavily on colleagues. We don't want colleagues to just give us lesson plans and us just to enact them. We want to make sure that ultimately what we do in the classroom, we own, we make it our own. And also think about, we're all in that anticipation phase. School's about to start. We're excited. We're nervous. That happens every single year, again, regardless of your years of experience. And you've had years of training. You had your student teaching. Perhaps you had years of teaching in another county. Perhaps you're a career switcher and have had years of being a nurse or years of being in the military. Whatever it might be, you have years of experience. And so you have high expectations for yourself. We have high expectations of you. And yet we have to acknowledge that there will be failures. And so we hope that you feel that you can fail in Bedford County. But we expect you to fail forward. And what that means is take risks, but learn from your mistakes. And to realize that no matter how well prepared you are, he was prepared. He had spent years training. And still, things can happen. Things can happen out of our control that cause us to be less successful than we want to be. So I just hope that you acknowledge that you're willing to take risks, but that you are prepared. They're calculated risks. They're well thought out risks, and that you're taking those on so ultimately so that your students succeed and that they have the success. So again, I do hope that you take the opportunity to watch that video about what occurred in Barcelona in 1992. Perhaps it's because I'm a former track coach, but every time I watch that, it kind of makes me get a little teary-eyed. I have to fight back tears. One of the next things that we want to do is make sure that you take time to explore the Virginia Department of Education website. There are a multitude of resources on that website, and so if you just type in the doe.virginia.gov, when you see how do I find on the right side, there's a multitude of information there that you can access. Information about licensure, professional development, release tests. This might be somewhere that you would want to go, and so you can see some release tests and what they look like. On the left side, you can look at standards of learning. You can look at testing, information about testing, but here you can look at each one. So again, Since I'm a history teacher, I'll go here. You can access the standards and curriculum framework, practice items, release SLO test, instructional resources. There's a skill progression chart, and again, it's going to look different for each of your different content areas. But if you're not familiar with the Department of Ed's website, you want to become familiar with that. And again, if you have been teaching in another state, this is going to be very, very relevant for you, because we expect that your lessons are aligned to the standards. And so, again, make sure that you're aware of what's here. Test blueprints, there's sample lesson plans, to learn about computer adaptive testing. Teacher Direct is a great resource. You can click there and sign up for kind of weekly emails that keep you abreast of things that are going all throughout the state. So that is a great resource. So again, these are kind of some things you want to make sure that you play around with, that you know is within your subject area. So again, I would encourage you to take a few minutes and look at what's available within your content area. Next, I would encourage you to become familiar with the Bedford County Public Schools webpage. If you go to our webpage, if you type in Bedford County Public Schools, it'll take you there. First of all, I want to draw your attention to under quick links. The employee links are probably going to be the ones that you would be most interested in. Employee Access Center, which Human Resources told you about during your orientation, but that's where you can see, you'll access your payroll checks, salary, leave information. Also Frontline, this is important. This is where you will sign in and you can enter in your absences. I'm not going to walk you through that program, but that's where the link is on our website. HR walked you through the program of how to create absences. I just want to make sure you know when it comes time to enter an absence where you would go. So you would go to Frontline. The other thing I would want to make sure that you draw your attention to is the ERO, the Electronic Registrar Online System. And here you would type in your ID and your PIN number. Your ID is your 5-digit employee number. Your PIN is simply the first 4 digits of your 5-digit employee code. And you would log in. I'm going to switch to a register view because that's what you'll see. And here you could type in course catalog, view schedule calendar, and of course there's not many in July, but let's see July 9th. There was the Foundations of Autism Spectrum Disorders. There's a class. And I could sign up for this class. Obviously it's already passed, so I can't, but I could have signed up for that class. I could go back, I could see in August what's available. So sometimes your principal may say, you need to go into ERO or the Electronic Registrar System and sign up for this class. And so again, we're not going to spend a lot of time in that program, but what I do want to make sure that you know is when it comes time to access it, that you are aware of where to find it. Okay, so those are all under quick links on the Bedford County webpage. In addition, I want to draw your attention to departments and instruction. This is probably where you're going to spend most of your time. First of all, you'll go to your different content areas. If you're a mathematics teacher or science teacher, if you're an elementary teacher, you would of course want to know all of them, but social studies, for example, this is where you would go. And you can see links about the alternate assessments, so the project-based assessments we have. We've got resources, the curriculum maps, the pacing guides for all of the different grade levels. There are ideas about how to implement the skills within your classroom, the at-a-glance guides. And again, each content area looks slightly different, but you want to make sure that you play around with your content page and you are familiar with it. In addition, you can see the tuition assistance program. And this is tied to something that Mr. Overstreet does, our Director of Instruction. We get $100,000 of federal money each year, and he can designate that to teachers. So if you're taking a college class, you can get up to $1,000 per year from Bedford County to help go towards that class. So again, you just want to play around with the Bedford webpage, the different content areas, how to access your pacing guides, your curriculum guides. You will definitely want to be familiar with the quick links and your content. So this first video introduced you to the DOE resources and Bedford County resources. And we will cover a couple of other topics in our second video.